Hi, welcome to Learning Monkey. I am Vikram. In this class, we'll try to understand interrupt-driven I/O mechanism. So the concept of program-driven I/O mechanism has already been discussed in our previous video. If you haven't watched that video, please watch that video and come back here because this video is the continuation video for the previous video. And every video in our channel is going to be a part of entire course or a playlist. Our suggestion is to follow the entire course so that you can have better understanding of the concepts. And the link for the playlist is provided in the description below. Now coming to this class, how this interrupt driven I/O mechanism will work is, so in our previous class where we have discussed about programmed I/O, so the two lines of the code, so this is the program that is used in the programmed enabled I/O. Here these two lines of code will get executed continuously until the input is given by the end user. So that CPU time will get wasted by continuously executing these two lines of code. So the discussion has already been made. So in order to avoid that, so we are going to introduce the concept called interrupt driven I/O. So what this interrupt driven I/O is, the CPU will do its job continuously. So it is not going to check whether the input request is there or not. So it will continuously execute the user program. The program that is given by the end user will get continuously executed. So instruction after instruction it is getting executed. Whenever there is an I/O request, so the external devices will interrupt the execution of the program. So the external devices are going to intimate the CPU, so the processor, that so some I/O request has been made. So whenever that interrupt is made, CPU is going to stop the execution of its instruction execution. So execution of its instruction. So for example, some X instruction is getting executed. After executing that instruction, CPU will stop its user program instruction. It is going to execute the I/O operation. So the request that is made based upon that request, that I/O operation will get executed, and after completion of the I/O operation, the CPU will continue its program, user program will get executed. Anyway, we are going to understand this by using an example. Here is the user program. So this is the program where the user has given this program to the computer to execute. So this instruction has been executed. So these are the instructions of the program, and this instruction has been executed, and after that this instruction is getting executed. So this program is getting executed. So in order to execute this program, these are the sequence of micro operations that needs to be executed. So this discussion has already been made in our previous videos: fetch, decode, effective address, and execute phase. So while executing this program, for example, assume that the user has pressed a key on the keyboard. So it means it is an I/O operation. So while executing this program, if there is a I/O request, if there is a I/O operation performed by the user, so what happens is, in the execute phase, so the flip-flops that are related to the I/O operation, FGI and FGO, if it is a FGI, it is an input request, so the FGI will get activated. So in the execute phase of the instruction, what happens is, the computer will execute the program. It will continuously execute the program. In parallel, it is going to check whether there is an I/O request or not. So let's try to understand that by using this flowchart. So what happens with the new kind of hardware is, so the computer, so fetch and decode instructions, after that executing the instruction. So in the execute phase of the instruction, so we are going to check IEN. So what this IEN is, it is a flip-flop, interrupt enable flip-flop. Whenever the program is running the user program, so this is a user program, whenever the computer is running the user program, the interrupt enable will be made to 1. Whenever the computer is running in the super mode means whenever it is doing I/O operation, this interrupt enable is made to 0. So how it is made, that we will try to understand in our later videos. So what this interrupt enable flip-flop is, this interrupt enable flip-flop is is what it is going to do is it is going to control the interrupt options. So whenever there is an IO request, whether the IO request has to be executed or not is decided by this IEN. Okay, so how this IEN is switched from 0 to 1 is it is by using ION. So the instructions ION is to interrupt enable on, and the instruction IOF is to interrupt enable off. So these two instructions we have discussed in our interrupt instructions, IO instructions. So there we have said that we are going to discuss about this in detail in our later videos. So this is the point where the use of ION and IOF is made. So the ION is used to make the interrupt enable on, and IOF is used to make the interrupt enable off. So while in the process of executing these steps, so whenever we are in the execute phase, so it is going to check the external control unit is going to check whether the interrupt enable is on or off. So because we are in the user mode, user programs are getting executed, the interrupt enable will be on, and after that we are going to check whether FGI is on or FGO is on. As the keyboard is pressed, the FGI will be made to 1. If the FGI is made to 1, we are going to make R is equal to 1. So the value of R, so this is another flip-flop R, this R flip-flop is made 1. If it is FGO is on, then also the R flip-flop is made 1. If it is an output operation, then also the FGO flip-flop will be 1. If it is 1, the R will be made to 1. So after completion of this instruction, so this instruction is getting executed and the checking of this also is happening parallelly. So R is made to 1. So the instruction is getting executed, and after that whenever we are going to, so this instruction has been done and the next instruction is getting executed whenever we are going to start the execution of our next instruction. So here we are going to check for the value of R. If the value of R is 0, next instruction CLA will get executed. If the value of R is 1, as the keyboard has been pressed, the value of R has been made to 1. If the value of R is 1, the interrupt cycle will get executed. So what this interrupt cycle is this interrupt cycle is going to execute the IO operations. How that interrupt cycle will get executed and what are the hardwares that make this interrupt cycle happen, so that we will try to understand in our later video. So in this video, so the concept that we have to understand is in parallel in the execution phase, it is going to check whether the IO request has been made. If it is made, it is going to make R value is equal to 1. So this is how the interrupt enabled, so interrupt driven IO mechanism, this is what the interrupt driven IO mechanism is. Hope you got the clarity on this concept. Thanks for watching. If you haven't subscribed to our channel, please subscribe to our channel and press bell icon for the latest updates. And if you have any doubts regarding this concept, please post your doubt in the comment section below. And if you feel that this video is helpful to you, please give us a like symbol and please share this video with your friends so that they will also get benefited. Thanks for watching.